that this guy can be with us. You know, he knows music, movies. He'll do the big blockbusters. He'll do some Danish film that, no one's ever heard of with a bunch of subtitles. He's got quite the range. That's all I'm trying to say. And he knocks around the city, goes to all the clubs, and I don't know how you do it, Michael Snyder. I don't know how you do it, but he does come and go on a rainbow. He's the great Michael Snyder, everyone. Hi, Michael Snyder.
Well, hi, Mark. Hi, Kim. Hi, Albert. Hello, audience. Love you. Glad that you're out there. A little saddened by the passing of Tony Bennett. Met the guy during a Live 105 special concert experience I had once back in the day when I was affiliated with that radio station. I went backstage. It was nice to meet you. He was a really wonderful guy.
He really was a down-to-earth kind of dude.
And I always associate that song with the Giants' victory. I left my heart in San Francisco and all of that crap. Oh my God! Of course, Tony he's beyond essential.
In San Francisco and all that crap.
Yeah,
is that what you're
saying? Listen, he did have some problems early on. The original version of that song, written specifically for him, was "I left my nose in Las Vegas."
How dare you? How dare you, Albert? I want that excised from this segment.
We love Tony, and we'll miss him terribly, and we're glad he was around.
What is it, Michael?
Every time someone says the hype is real, to suggest a rave for some TV show or movie or musician or restaurant or book, I think absolutely, no doubt, the hype is real. That's some real hype right there.
The hype part is real, but is there real behind the hype?
I know, but that said, I want to hype up Striptease, the newly released memoir by my friend Kate Flannery about her post-collegiate move to L.A. from the Philly area in the early 2000s after she graduated from Bryn Mawr, and her recruitment onto the staff of American Apparel. This book snaps, crackles, and pops, and you can check it out. Go to Amazon and look up Striptease.
Aren't she going to come on the show? Albert, did we book her? Did I include you in that email? Or
I hope we do, because
Kim, maybe you can help me.
This job at American Apparel turns out to be like almost a cult-like situation, thanks to the company's weirdo CEO. And this is all about Kate's descent into that and trying to pull herself out of it, and also very much a lovely memoir of life in the go-go early 2000s in Los Angeles. I hope we have a chance to bring her in.
Yeah, Kim, you'll help me make that happen, because we've got all the contact information. I don't know where Albert, he's in and out. So
I'd like to note that I got an email this morning from Dan Dresser, who feels like Michael Snyder should be awarded a special award for the #1 use of ding words. I'll just say that people are noticing.
I don't like to do that. I don't like the good thing about Michael Snyder, in addition to everything else that's good
so
about
nice
him.
that you're talking about me in the third person and I'm sitting here.
Well, the good thing about Michael Snyder is that he doesn't try to use ding words. That is, you can tell when somebody's like going early on when we started the ding words, people were kind of going out of their way to, but he doesn't. And so he and David Katz has a strong ding game, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Snyder, you are the squad leader. I agree with that.
Hey, listen, I keep my dings about me. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So
let's get to
where
movies.
are we starting? Yeah,
okay. Despite coming in at 3 hours, filmmaker Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer has all the majesty and fearful power of a nuclear explosion throughout. And that's appropriate because it's about the guy, the father of the atom bomb. This is the man, J. Robert Oppenheimer, whose research and organizational skills led to the first atomic explosion. This is a lush and meticulously rendered epic. It's historically significant, this film bio. It is riveting. Cillian Murphy, probably best known up until now for brilliantly playing the expedient and morally compromised Tommy Shelby, leader of the crime family in the rip-roaring period TV show Peaky Blinders. His career should ascend even further on the strength of this complex and haunting performance he delivers as Oppenheimer. This guy was brilliant, a left-leaning physicist, And his visionary approach to building a bomb that would defeat the Axis in World War II truly launched the atomic age. In fact, all the cast members in this movie, whether on screen for extended or brief times, are uniformly superb. Matt Damon is spot on as Lieutenant General Leslie Groves Jr., who chooses Oppenheimer as the right man to lead the Manhattan Project, again, the top secret gathering of scientists who were tasked with creating the ultimate means of mass destruction as World War II ramped up. And Robert Downey Jr., I smell an Oscar nomination.
Wow,
Robert Downey Jr., fantastic and unrecognizable as Louis Strauss, who initially endorses Oppie to Groves Jr., and then as the head of the Atomic Energy Commission, tries to throw Oppenheimer to the right-wing commie-hunting wolves.
Right.
And this is the time of the McCarthy hearings in the 50s. To be labeled a communist was a career death and social ostracizing.
I'll ding ostracizing, but I'll also ding because Tom was the keeper of the ding, said something there. What is Tom? Oh, expedient, I guess you could ding it. Go ahead.
Anyway, so the Allies, led by the U.S., are facing the Nazis and the Japanese war machine and forced to team up with Stalin's Russia. And Oppenheimer tables his reservations in the late 30s and those of his colleague and mentor Albert Einstein and races against time to set off the first A-bomb. Look, make no mistake, the ideas and the debate over the morality of creating and deploying unbridled world-destroying weaponry, even in the interest of preserving peace and freedom versus the threat of tyranny, is deeply ingrained in this movie. This is serious cinema, but never less than thrilling and absorbing, even as it resonates as really, really meaningful in these times, which, as you know, check the news, they continue to be perilous and precarious.
Perilous, precarious, resonates.
Oppenheimer knew what he had done when he brought this together. You remember the people talk about this. In an interview, he said that the first atomic test brought to mind a quote by the Hindu god Vishnu from the Bhagavad Gita, and I quote, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." He knew what a heavy situation this was.
Yeah, no, that was maybe one of the most powerful aspects of everything I know about him, is that he was aware of the profound nature of this and its destructive power, if you will. It's kind of the dark power that it had.
This is an important film, and Nolan depicts that utterly unstoppable force in stunning fashion, visually and viscerally, while telling the story of this conflict-filled journey undertaken by the man most responsible for bringing atomic power out of the realm of speculative science and into scary reality. There's also time spent on Oppenheimer's younger days as a student, his relationships with his comrades, get it, comrades on the left, including his lover, Jean Tatlock, played by the glorious Florence Pugh, and his brother Frank, played by Dylan Arnold, and the passion and pain triggered by his life's work, such as the friction and the strife that plagued his marriage to the strong-willed, hard-drinking, but loyal Kitty Oppenheimer, played with simmering intensity by Emily Blunt. In smaller roles, you get Kenneth Branagh, Benny Safdie, Rami Malek. It's an Oscar fest, dude.
Wow.
Josh Hartnett, Matthew Modine, and other luminaries, including, whoa, that's Gary Oldman as President Harry S. Truman, an unbilled Gary Oldman. And seeing him, I immediately imagined a one-actor, two-man movie about a meeting between Oldman's Truman and Oldman's Winston Churchill from Darkest Hour, accomplished via split screen. It can be done.
That's
people.
Great. That's a great take. By the way, viscerally is a ding word.
Speaking of screens, Oppenheimer was shot with IMAX 70mm cameras and is truly in its glory on the IMAX screen. I encourage you to see it that way.
Why do I need to see?
It's so big and beautiful. The aspect ratio on the IMAX segments changes. And we talked about immersive cinema before, and man, these explosions will
Well, that's the thing, the explosion probably. But I mean, I don't know. I feel kind of weird wanting to just go to see it for the explosions.
No. There are personal
saying-
moments that are also blown up and immersive. It's
Immersive is a thing, yeah.
if at all possible, or if you're interested, I would check it out there.
See it in IMAX. So it's 70 millimeter IMAX is what you really want. I mean, if you can possibly manage it.
Well,
but is there other IMAX besides?
No,
70
all IMAX theaters can accommodate the 70 millimeter print.
Oh, they all can. Okay.
And I happen to see it on film. And I know that I would assume the digital presentation is also incredible. Look, Oppenheimer is now vying with Memento, The Dark Knight, and Dunkirk as my favorite Christopher Nolan movie.
Wow.
And I mean, this is the guy who also made Inception, Interstellar, Batman Begins, all of which blew me away. So consider that when I say how much Oppenheimer impressed me. It's in theaters.
Now, last thing about Oppenheimer from a historical perspective is, I mean, it's tragic what they did to Oppenheimer. They McCarthyized him, right?
Yes.
And he became one of the great victims of McCarthyism.
They tried to steal his security clearance. Not all that important, but it smeared him. A man who was loyal to his country. By the way, he was Jewish. And in the realm of non-traditional casting, putting an Irishman in the role of a Jew, I don't know. Cillian Murphy is so good. I'm kidding.
But that's funny. In the new America, it's like, how come you should have cast a Jewish person in the Jewish role. Right? But it was just a troubling time. I know he was friends with Albert Einstein, I think.
He was. And there are segments where
he acted somebody plays Einstein.
And beautifully. And those are wonderful little scenes. I was enraptured by this thing.
Wow, and that's a ding word. Okay, what's next?
Speaking of World War II, as we were, there's Barbie, the biopic about Klaus Barbie, the Nazi Gestapo commandant known as the Butcher of... Oh, no, wait a minute. No. I got that wrong. Barbie is the product placement-driven and seemingly relentless fun fest built around the doll that changed the toy industry and impacted girls with the promise of sky's the limit career options, a hunger for material possessions, let's be honest, and some unrealistic body image expectations. No one was going to be as skinny as Barbie.
Right.
And yet, the popularity of the doll was explosive. Promoted unrelentingly for the past couple months, Barbie was directed by the thoughtful indie actress and filmmaker Greta Gerwig and co-written by her and her partner, the honored director-screenwriter Noah Baumbach, whose work I admire immensely. And I will say this, Baumbach's hit or miss, but when he hits, he's a knockout. It's a knockout blow. Barbie hasn't just been harnessing the zeitgeist, it's been throttling it. So much pink. I mean, if I have to hear Barbie Girl, the dance pop hit from the Scandinavian band Aqua, one more time on Instagram Reels, I will unleash an army of Transformers and G.I. Joes on Barbie Land. I will. And yes, there is a Barbie Land, at least in this movie. So the movie, a summertime bauble for sure. It purports to tell the tale of a vapid, self-proclaimed, stereotypical Barbie, played by the super lovely and talented Margot Robbie. Stereotypical Barbie, who, for convenience purposes, we'll call Barbie number one, lives in plastic, fantastic Barbie land, where Barbies rule and Kens drool. So this is a community of Barbies and Kens and their friends. We're all as happy and friendly fun, but suddenly Barbie number one, who regularly blows off Ken number one, played by Ryan Gosling, whenever he hits on her. I thought they were boyfriend and girlfriend. What is up with that? Anyway, she is plagued by an existential crisis. That's right.
Existential.
A weird crone-like Barbie, played by Kate McKinnon, sends Barbie number one off on a journey to the real world to find the Barbie doll owner who is triggering the crisis. So Ken tags along and discovers that men are largely in charge of our world, unlike Barbie Land. Even the board of Mattel, makers of the Barbie doll and associated dolls and accessories, is entirely male in the movie, with a clueless, obnoxious CEO played by Will Ferrell, who needs to learn his lesson by movie's end, of course. So kudos to Mattel for signing off on this. But then again, the movie is a giant zillion-dollar ad for Barbie. And Barbie the movie does have copious charms. There is a lively, overloaded cast with an immensely likable Robbie and an immensely annoying Gosling. Veterans like Farrell, McKinnon, Rhea Perlman, John Cena, Issa Rae, and Michael Cera, and many younger talents who are seriously on the rise, although relegated to these all too short moments and blink and you'll miss them cameos. You got Kens and Barbies played by Simu Liu, Kingsley Benadir, Emma Mackey, and Ncuti Gatwa. I got to give props to the movie's splendiferous visual sense. Again, so much pink. After mere minutes, you won't be
So
thinking,
much pink, says Michael Snyder.
You won't be thinking pink after a few minutes. You'll be blinded by it.
Run, don't walk to this movie. There's so much pink.
Bring your sunglasses because the pink is dazzling. Look, I support the inclusiveness, the gender politics, the female empowerment and playfulness at the heart of it, but it's got some muddled messaging, relentless clever gags, and some not so funny jokes, and kind of wacky world building with its legion of Barbies and Kens. And it all starts to get a bit wearying halfway through the movie's second hour. Yeah, it almost pushes 2 hours. It's supposed to be summer piffle, but nah.
Yeah. Kudos is a ding word. Splendiferous is a ding word.
Splendiferous doesn't even exist as a word.
I know. I was going to say, but I thought there was something else you said. Relegated. Yeah. Relegated.
Anyway, there's an unclear idea of exactly what's causing the rift between the human mother, played by America Ferrara, and her daughter, played by Ariana Greenblatt, whose handling of the Barbie doll in the real world is purportedly what sets Barbie number one on her quest.
Purportedly. But I want to ask you, wait a minute. So is the Barbie doll a doll, or is this Barbie come to life?
There are Barbie dolls in the real world, and a living, breathing, I assume, Barbie lives in Barbie Land, which is populated by Barbies and Kens and their friends. Look, I don't mean to be a buzzkill. It's worth seeing, but the script by Gerwig and Baumbach may be a little too smart for its own good, and so many talented actors get lost in the sea of Barbies and Kens. Ultimately, Barbie number one is more of a vessel for ideas on feminism, the patriarchy, commerce, and so on than a fully realized character, as good as Robbie is. And that diminishes this admittedly frivolous movie's emotional impact. You know, people are going to flock to this thing.
But I mean, but in terms of what the realities here, you're saying it's sort of, it's on a 10 scale, it's like a 7, it sounds like.
Yeah, it tries to serve so many masters that a lot gets lost in the shuffle. Okay. It's in theaters. And by the way, for the record, Klaus Barbie did not wear pink. He did not. That was not part of his uniform.
Tom says patriarchy's a ding word. Yeah, okay.
Patriarchy is something to watch out for.
Yeah, okay. All right, what's next?
Okay,
so those are the two big ones, Oppenheimer and Barbie.
That's why we devoted time to them. They are cultural phenomenons.
Yes, sir.
Or Oppenheimer should be as much of one as Barbie is. Over the past year, we've seen some movies recounting the rise of memorable and idiosyncratic products that captured the public's imagination for a time in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. There was Tetris, about the addictive video game, BlackBerry, about the groundbreaking smartphone, and Air, about the creation and endorsement of Nike's mega popular Air Jordan sneakers. All three of those recent feature releases are damned good and highly recommended by yours truly. Now comes the Beanie Bubble, which dramatizes the billion-dollar 90s craze for collecting the small stuffed animals known as Beanie Babies.
Sure.
Often as investments for amateur speculators back then.
Right. It was it was like the Bitcoin of its time.
That is a fair correlation to make. Zach Galifianakis is small-time toy salesman Ty Warner, and Elizabeth Banks is the canny go-getter Robbie, who teams with Ty in business and in the sack and helps to build the Beanie Empire. Those are some solid stars. Throw in Sarah Snook of Succession as the single mom who succumbs to Ty's romantic overtures as the toy company's fortunes soar, and Geraldine Viswanathan as the company intern who builds the Beanie Babies collector frenzy on the vestigial internet, because it's the 90s and the internet is just getting rolling.
Vestigial.
So you've got some strong performances for what is a middling movie that I found diverting, but nowhere near as exciting as Tetris, BlackBerry, or Air. The Beanie Bubble was written by, get this, ex-Futurama and SNL staffer Kristen Gore. Yes, Al Gore's daughter. And co-directed by her and her husband, Damon Kulash, who's lead singer and guitarist of the endlessly clever pop rock band OK Go. And the Beanie Bubble is okay. I don't know that you should go. Anyway, it's not much more than that.
I see what you did.
I know. It's in select theaters this weekend and on Apple TV next weekend, where it's probably a better bet.
I see. Okay.
And so that's the Beanie Bubble.
I love it. Big three. You want to try to squeeze one more in real quick?
One more. Cobweb is a small-scale horror movie set in a nondescript neighborhood as Halloween approaches. It seems like the movie's release is a couple months early, but whatevs. The setup here involves a sensitive 8-year-old boy named Peter, who is dealing with night terrors and bad dreams seemingly brought on by tapping in the wall of his bedroom. But is it really there? What's there? What is something tapping? His parents, played by Lizzie Kaplan, so good in the Showtime series Masters of Sex, and Anthony Starr, quite the handful as the superpowered Homelander on Amazon Prime's The Boys. They try to put his mind at ease, saying he's imagining everything, but he's suspicious of them and their motives. So at school, Peter is bullied, and only his new substitute teacher, Miss Devine, offers any comfort and support. By Halloween, things have gotten worse and freakier for poor Peter, played by a kid actor named Woody Norman, who seems to be put through the ringer in this film. Anyway, Mom and Dad seem off, and the noises in the bedroom wall now include a voice. Cobweb, it poses the question of whether or not parents are protectors or tormentors, while it also leans on the mystery of whether or not there's a real threat to Peter, and if so, what's its nature. We've seen this sort of thing before, so the familiarity undercuts some of the tension. Still, Cobweb isn't bad. In fact, it would be a decent Halloween weekend diversion for home viewing, and I expect it will be available to stream by Halloween.
Wow.
For now, it's only in theaters.
Cobweb is the Halloween entry that's ahead of its time, literally.
Yeah.
It's the summer Halloween entry. Michael says it's okay.
It's all right. It's
If
it's
you like a little Halloween scare in the middle of your summer,
kind of boilerplate.
not a bad way to go. Cobweb. The Beanie Bubble, all about the Beanie Baby craze. Zach Galifianakis and all the other performers that you recognize from Succession and beyond. He says it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. Barbie, serving all those masters that Michael talked about. Feminism and opportunity and potential and the patriarchy. This is Barbie, if we can switch the, there it is. There's a lot of pink. It's visually popping, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
And it's not bad. You felt that its shortcoming might be that it tried to serve so many masters, tell so many stories, and have so many messages.
Right. Muddled, mixed messages.
But okay.
Yeah, it's a trip. I'll tell you that.
Okay. And then Oppenheimer, which was, you felt all the virtuosity that you expect from Christopher Nolan. Again, now Oppenheimer, please, you can change the graphic. The Oppenheimer movie, if you can see it, you recommend it for IMAX because you just feel that there's just so much visually going on. You'll get a different sense of scope and perspective.
It's so good, though. I mean, any way you watch it, don't watch it on your phone, you morons. No, please, I'm begging you. But when it comes to home video, I'm sure it'll be a worthwhile experience, too. It's the unvarnished recommendation for the weekend.
Wow. There you go. Go grab a little Oppie. Oppenheimer opening this weekend. So, Michael, thank you, first of all. I won't be here next Friday. You'll be with Kim.
I love Kim McAllister. We'll have a great time in your absence.
I am confident you will. Anything on the Giants that you'd like to leave us with?
I just want to say every time they win at
An
home,
angel
we
gets
hear
its wings?
Tony Bennett.
Oh, that's
and
right.
It'll
There you go.
bring a little tear to my eye. And go Giants. I know they're going to come out of this minor tailspin they hit the past two games in Cincy. They will go to D.C. and hopefully triumph over the Nats.
Bravo, Michael. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye-bye, Michael Snyder.
So long, everybody.
Yeah. Love mine. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.